Leo was a man with a brilliant mind, but his soul was slowly withering away behind the walls of comfortable debt. Every morning his alarm would scream at exactly 6 a.m. For him, that sound was no longer a timer. It was a death knell for his dreams. He often found himself staring at the pale white ceiling, tracing the tiny cracks above, realizing his life was exactly like them, static, cold, and slowly falling apart. At the office, Leo was the perfect machine. He sat in cubicle number 42, surrounded by gray walls that seemed to tighten around him every single day. He spent his hours grinding through dull spreadsheets, replying to meaningless emails, and nodding obediently to a boss who only saw him as a digit on a monthly report. His friends called him lucky for having a stable paycheck. But to Leo, every dollar he earned felt like rent paid to keep his own ambitions imprisoned. Hidden in his bag was an old sketchbook. Inside, Leo had designed a digital platform he believed could revolutionize creative learning. It was his child. It was his dream. But every time he thought about taking a step, fear would roll in like a thick fog. What if you fail and lose your health insurance? What if people laugh at you? Just wait until you have enough savings. Unfortunately, that enough never came, because his cost of living always crawled upward alongside his salary. Before he knew it, 5 years had vanished in the blink of an eye. Routine is a lethal drug. It makes you feel like everything is fine while you're rotting on the inside. Through his phone screen, Leo watched his old friends. One started a business from a garage. Another moved abroad to chase a passion. Their faces looked tired, marked by the scars of struggle. But their eyes were alive. And Leo? His face was clean, his clothes were expensive, but his gaze was hollow. He realized he wasn't saving for a future. He was saving for the funeral of his dreams. He was trapped in golden handcuffs, a comfort that binds. He was so afraid of losing his soft mattress that he didn't realize he was actually sleeping in a comfortable coffin. Every night he promised, "Tomorrow, I'll start tomorrow." But tomorrow is just a graveyard where dreams are left to decay. The turning point came at a nursing home. In a quiet corner of the garden, he met Arthur, a man who had once been a genius, now just watching a withered tree. Leo asked him, "Sir, what do you regret most when you look back?" Arthur looked at Leo with eyes that were glassy yet piercing. "Son, the pain of failure only lasts a few months, but the pain of never trying? That is a burden you carry all the way to the grave. I spent 20 years waiting for the green light to start my own firm. I waited for the economy to improve, for the kids to grow up, for everything to be perfect. Until finally, I realized that the green light never comes. We are the ones who have to hit the gas in the middle of the darkness." Arthur gripped Leo's trembling hand. "Don't be like me, someone who can only tell stories of what I should have done. Be the person who tells the story of what you did, and to hell with the results." That night, Leo returned to a silent home. He didn't turn on the TV. He sat at his dining table, opened that old sketchbook, and with hands shaking violently, he typed the very first line of code. The months that followed were a living hell. 8 hours at the office, then 6 more for his dream. He lost sleep. He lost his social life. He felt like an alien in his own world. There were moments he wanted to cry from sheer exhaustion. But in the middle of that pain, Leo felt something he hadn't felt in years. Adrenaline. He no longer felt like a robot. Every line of code was a hammer blow against the bars of his cage. Comfort was a lie. Real life is about friction. 2 years later, Leo didn't suddenly become a billionaire, but he launched his platform. He finally resigned from cubicle number 42. His income wasn't stable yet, but every cent he earned belonged to his soul, not the crumbs falling from someone else's table. Leo stood on his balcony, watching the sunset with a sense of peace. He finally understood that his greatest enemy wasn't failure. It was the word later. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. Courage is acting while your heart is pounding out of your chest, because you know that staying still is far more dangerous than moving forward. Leo no longer waits for the right time, because for Leo, the right time is this very second. We often lie to ourselves by calling fear being realistic. We say we're waiting for the right moment, when in reality, we're just letting time steal our bravery. That comfort you feel right now, it's not a reward, it's a trap. Look at your hands. Look at the mirror. Those lost years are never coming back. How many more Monday mornings are you willing to sacrifice just to build someone else's dream, while your own gathers dust in a drawer? The security you're so proud of is incredibly fragile. You can be replaced overnight by your company, but you can never replace the time you lost for yourself. Stop waiting for the green light. In the real world, that light is usually broken. You have to be brave enough to charge into the dark using your own headlights. Failure might suck, but at least it gives you an answer. But silence? It only leaves a hollow hole in your heart when you're old. Stop the planning. Stop the analysis. The world doesn't need more planners. The world needs people who are brave enough to start, even when their hands are shaking. 1 hour tonight. That's all you need to start breaking down the prison walls. Arthur already gave you the key. Now, it's up to you. Do you want to keep sitting in that cell, or do you start walking out? The green light is never coming, so hit the gas now.